Hello there folks, welcome to Sundsvall that has been having a really great spring weather now for a while. It looks like spring finally might be here. Should be since it's April. It is snow outside, but it's melting slowly, so it looks very interesting for the past couple of months. I realized that it's been very long since I did the latest vinyl and CD update. I think it was in January or February, maybe February. So I thought, why not do another vinyl and CD update? Since last time it has gone. But on the other hand, I have saved very much for the record fair. What video I assume that you have seen by now. I finally got together some great stuff to show. So let's get on to it. There's also another video where I show some new stuff, and that was my record digging video at the thrift store not too long ago. But for those of you who haven't seen that video yet, I might show what I found there at the thrift store Erikshjälpen. I think it was maybe 3 weeks back. I found Blast, Brothers Johnson, a compilation with their best songs. Really great to have. I found a Fletcher Henderson, A Study in Frustration. Don't ask me why he's called that. The Fletcher Henderson story, where I talked about that in the video that I have part 2 of this because it's in a series, and I didn't know that actually until I realized that this is volume 4, and the part 2 and volume 2 and volume 4 looks exactly the same in the cover, so with exception from the volume number. It's pretty easy to miss this, but it's really great. I also found a Benny Goodman EP with some songs that I have with in settings that I don't have. So, and Swedish band leader Harry Arnold playing My Fair Lady songs in jazz orchestrations. And Swedish singer-songwriter Lars Winnerbäck, Vatten under broarna, water under the bridge. So that was what I found in that video, but for those of you who haven't seen it, now you have seen it. So now let's move on to the stuff that I haven't shown other than on streams and so on. Let's start with singles, CD singles. This one I was really happy to find it a couple of days ago. The brand new heavies, Dream On Dreamer, acid jazz or soul jazz, whatever you like to call it, and it is from the 90s, I think 94 or something like that. And really funky, great groovy stuff. Really smooth. I really like this one. We have some Swedish CD singles. This is Swedish indie pop band Brainpool, and their single Band Starter, their by far best song. Really nice indie pop groove, and singing in English though, naturally. And it is published by Jimmy Fun Music, which is a company owned by Per Gessle from Roxette, who is a huge fan of these guys. And another Swedish single, Stuck a Bow, and the single Mute. And Stuck a Bow is born Johan Renck, who is a guy that have been behind some of Madonna's musical videos, actually. I think Nothing Really Matters is he has been behind that video, among others. I'm not really sure, but he has been producing a couple of Madonna's videos, and he's also been doing some movies lately. But he also was a great singer slash toaster slash rapper. So very, very great to have that one. CDs. I have one that I'm sure that I haven't showed it, though it was a while I bought it. A compilation, ballad compilation from from Toto. This is best ballads. Normally I don't go for this kind of themed compilations, but Toto has done so many amazing and relaxed ballads. I felt like this one I gotta have, actually. It's amazing to relax to. Some jazz. We have Hot Notes, New York Volume 1. This is right up my alley right now. As I said before, I'm listening in a lot to early jazz from the 20s. Try to get back in time with jazz and discover its earliest forms. And these are very obscure and not that well-known bands, like dancing orchestras. And it's really, really cozy to listen to. The only one that I know of is, of course, Duke Ellington. You're not gonna get away. In some form, he's gonna be mentioned in my vinyl CD updates. Duke Ellington and his orchestra in a very early date. I would assume he was still at the Cotton Club back then. And Lloyd Scott Orchestra I've also heard of before. But otherwise, Charlie Johnson's and different kind of orchestras. I've never heard of Leroy Smith, Savoy Bearcats. But it's very, very interesting to have. It's a part of jazz history. Then, and this is also from, I would assume, the same collection that I bought from a bit of a year ago, during the summer last year. You might remember that I showed a whole lot of early jazz that I found. And I think that these that I'm going to show now, next I will show, and this one, is from that same collection that Erikshjälpen that I bought them from. They have put out the rest of that collection until now. I realized that because in those videos, a couple that I showed were actually this. Remember this with King Oliver? And the Heritage compilation. This was volume 6, and now all of a sudden our managers at the same place found volume 5, which circles around 1928 to 29, and this is King Oliver with mostly the earliest forms of big bands. So this is very, very interesting. So now I have 2 of these. Same goes with the Casa Loma Orchestra that I showed. I showed back then this Casa Loma Stomp, presenting the earliest recordings of Casa Loma Orchestra. I showed this one in July. And now all of a sudden I found this one, Maniac Ball. This is another part in the same series. So this is circled around the pre-swing, so this is also a very early swing. So we're nice to have continuation in a series. Very, very interesting to find. Vinyl singles. Here we have the side group from the Isley Brothers, Isley, Jasper Isley. They're mostly famous for being the one that introduced Caravan of Love, the song that was made famous by the House Martins. But this is a more another song though. It's more souly stuff. The Eighth Wonder of the World from 1987. And I listened to a quick peek and it sounded really, really great. This is my first Jasper stuff that I have. This artist I have though a whole lot with. I have extremely many records by her. Randy Crawford, and another soul track from the Nightline album from 1983, a song called Why. Randy Crawford always welcome in my collection if I don't have it. Now, full length. Starting with some little easy listening touch. This is a band leader that I've shown before, Edmundo Ross, and an album, original album, not a compilation, called This Is My World. And more of easy listening with the Latin style that I like. Edmundo, I'm not normally that big fan of that kind of big band music, but Edmundo Ross is a big exception because his arrangements are really, really great. And this one is no exception. We have a Stevie Wonder, original Musicarium 1, 2-record album. This is a record that is a kind of compilation, but with some also newly recorded stuff and stuff that have been not been released before and so on. So great to actually have this one. Normally when it comes to compilation I want a more complete compilation, but since this also contains a whole lot of stuff that I didn't have before, it's hard to not buy it. We have more jazz. John Kirby and his orchestra. John Kirby, who is today a sadly forgotten musician, but he had a really nice band in the 40s, 30s and 40s, that was named the biggest little band in the world. It wasn't as big as a normal big band, but they played like almost like it would be a big band, so that's why I called it the biggest little band in the world, in the land. And really cozy, almost like chamber jazz style also. So I'm a fan of John Kirby and his orchestra, and they've done some really, really nice, innovative stuff also. So it's very nice to find this one. This one I was very happy to find. This is Quincy Jones, You Got It Bad Girl, that I found for $4. And this one is very special because this contains a few of the very, very few songs where Quincy Jones sings himself. So that one is special only for that, but always nice to find more Quincy Jones. And we have creme de la creme of musicians here that is playing. We have George Duke is here, we have Ashford and Simpson here, we have Phil Woods here, Cat Anderson, the jazz trumpet player from Duke Ellington Orchestra, a whole lot of Ernie Watts is playing here, and Toots Thielemans is here, a whole lot of great names here, Dave Grusin, so always the best musicians that they have. So this is really, really interesting. This is a Danish album that I found very, very interesting. I listened to it and it is pretty good actually. It's not perfect, but it is a really nice nice record. Whether it will stay and avoid a future culling though remains to be seen. It depends on how much desperate I am for space, but for now it sounds like something that I will keep definitely. This is Anna Linnet and Sanne Salomonsen together in an early record from 1984. The earliest that I have with either of these, or should I say with Sanne Salomonsen, because Anna Linnet I haven't been that much of a fan of, but I am a fan of Sunny Solomon, so it's nice to have this one. It's early with these ladies. This is a album that was very interesting to find. I have it on a cassette copy, but it's always fun to have it in real physical record also. I'm talking about a Swedish band called Visitors. And what is special about Visitors? They make 80s pop, very regular 80s pop in this album from 1987. They had some okay hits, but they were nowhere near ABBA when it comes to selling. I don't think I haven't seen any information about charts in outside of Sweden. So a Swedish pop band that had a few good years and then disappeared. So then jump to 2023, I think it was, when I at a stream where Anthony AGK actually did a walk in a record store in a stream, and he flipped in a record bin, and there in Canada I found this one, and I was so my jaw was down on the floor. What is this record doing in Canada? How did it get there in a record store in Canada? So I was very, very shocked. So it was very fun then to have this one now for $1 here in Sweden. And finally, a record that I bought a couple of days ago. It is Ian Jury and the Blockheads, Do It Yourself. Not such an unusual record, but this is actually my first album by Ian Jury. I have Snowman in one single, and I have, of course, Hit Me With the Rhythm Stick, but I don't have an entire album. So this is going to be very, very interesting to hear if they can make it on a full-length album. So that was what I have been finding recently, with the exception from the record player, of course, but I don't show here. I have it on, as I said, in a video or so. So then until next time, I hope that every one of you have a really nice time, that you have or had a nice Easter. So take care, everybody, and so long.